Good morning, guys. Good morning. So yesterday, reality hit for some of you guys, making so many gains, and then all of a sudden, a big red day, right? Likely driven by inflation numbers. But in the morning, we did warn you guys over the last 2 3 days that a lot of gains have been made in the markets. You guys have done great. Now it is time to protect the gains. These comments are from yesterday. The gains you made in the last weeks. How do you manage them for the coming weeks? Right? Are you hooked on to making so much money every day? Ask yourself this question. Okay, and so managing is must. And yesterday we got the little downside move. For the last 4 days on SPY, we were our closing price was lower than the opening price. Today, is it something different, or do we give the gains again on a bounce and then come down again? Right. Personally, likely I see on SPY, which is happening right now. As long as we hold above this 465 level, where we consolidate, which is fine. If we break this in the coming days, then we do have 454, 455ish area, just on the top of this candle right here, 453. Okay, so this zone right here that it might visit in the coming days, technically right here. Okay, and it may happen. It should happen, I think. And let's see when it happens. It's actually good for us. If it does, then we can catch the next leg to the upside. All right. But today we do have a gap up, and we have some earnings that we'll discuss, and we'll discuss some Chinese names, which T and I were talking about yesterday. And yeah, so SPY, let's see what it does today. If it can take a yesterday's high and hold, then we probably likely continue higher. Tech, Q's, LB already went over these charts yesterday. He did a great job in the charting session. If you attended, congrats. Right, and same thing, 382.50 on the lower side is a must hold. And now we just need above 390 and hold above 390. Right now, pre-market, we're a little higher. So as long as we can continue holding above 390, the upside is intact. All right, and so let's go over some names. Let's go with JD first. So JD, a Chinese name. You guys all know what Singles Day is in China, right? It's huge, and JD has worked on. So I'm going to remove all these drawings for now, so the chart is clean. Now, JD has worked on a strategy in the past few years. What they did on the Singles Day is their Singles Day is no longer one day. They have extended their Singles Day a little bit, right? So that their numbers are numbers grow better, and they just smashed their records. Right now, the last number I checked was just roughly $50 billion. There's still about 2 hours to go in Chinese time. So how high does it go? Right, a very big positive for JD, and pre-market is already trading about 80. Now the only thing is, when I was doing some research or reading, the Chinese stocks, will they finally get some bids? Will the buyers finally come from North America? Right, that's the only one thing that's stopping them. Right. So the question is on JD, if we can take out this level, this is a trade I'm giving you guys right now. It's in the making. It's gonna work out, and we're gonna play it live right in front of you. If we can take out 85 and hold above 85, right? If we can take out 85 and hold, I believe 100 comes fast. Now, one thing that I do want to let you guys know on the leaps, and I will likely play leaps on JD, right? Likely leaps, because they're on discounted right now. Okay, the price on leaps is discounted because of the sideways movement for the last 6 months. All right, so the leaps are not trading at a high price, they're discounted given the price when the JD was 100 here. So if you buy 2024 options, even $120 calls on JD, and this breaks out of 85 and takes to 90 and 90 plus, they're going to add a lot of premium to those leaps, and that's when you make a lot of money, right? So that's one. Another stock is Baba. Baba has not released their numbers yet, unless they do sometime now. I yet have to see them, so I think they might even come tomorrow for Friday. I bought some Baba spreads yesterday, right, for December, a few weeks out. If the bounce is real, and if it bounces, right. Once again, Chinese names, we need buyers from North America, institutionals, big buyers that are going to buy up. If it takes a 180, right, on Baba, if it takes a 180, we haven't covered these stocks for almost 2 months now, like in this details. But Baba, if it takes a 180 and it holds, as soon as it gets 183 or 184, T and I both believe that 200 comes fast. All right, 200 comes fast, and leaps on Baba are also discounted right now because of this sideways and a downtrend movement. All right, finally it's trying to make a base here. Some of you guys like calling this an inverse head and shoulders. For me, it's just nothing but just a base that's making here a strong support level. Above 180, 200 might come fast. All right, so keep an eye on Baba. And the play that was given to you yesterday was, so two Chinese names added. I added Baba spreads, and T added KWEB calls. At the open, if KWEB opens more than $1, you should nail 60-70% on those calls overnight. All right, and if KWEB continues, likely there's a pull towards 54 in my opinion. But manage, he bought time on his calls. So KWEB, again, a strong base above 54. This also might go a long way. All right, it's a Chinese internet ETF, and we also went over this during the leap session. Some of you guys asked, and then the long-term target on this will be above 70 in the coming months if this is the base. All right, so keep an eye on these Chinese names. Beyond Meat, congrats to all the put buyers. Great call team. That bought puts in the market. The only thing I will say is, so if you're in, you might want to listen to this carefully. If Beyond opens, so you guys bought the 90 puts. Beyond, if opens at 78, right, intrinsic value is $12 plus premium. The premium is only gonna hold for the first 10 to 15 minutes. All right, premium added to those calls is only for the first 10 to 15 minutes. After that, they will take that out because it's deep in the money puts. There won't be no more premium in those puts. All right, so if you have a position, you want to manage your account at the open, $12. How much premium do they keep in? It might be around $2. So let's say Beyond is opens at 78 bucks. You might get anywhere between $13 to $15, maybe more. It depends, but roughly between there. And let's say Beyond is trading again at 78 at 10 a.m. Then you might only get about 12 bucks, which is intrinsic value. Okay. So at the open, you might be able to get up to $15 on Beyond if it opens here, but that's only going to last for a few minutes. All right. So watch and have fast fingers. So congrats on the Beyond put buyers. And technically, there are downgrades that came in. We might get a bounce in the morning, who knows? But it likely flushes all the way towards 70, 75 area. All right. And I know T's in. He will alert himself as soon as he does. But manage yours if you're in. AFRM extended a deal with Amazon. It's up nice pre-market, and they get access to all the Amazon customers too now. I think this is just a strong chart. This is one chart which can make a move similar to UPST. If it takes the high of this candle, which is roughly 176, 177, I'm just gonna give you the number right here. AFRM takes a 180, 200 will be fast. All right, that's it. If AFRM takes a 180, 200 will be fast on this name, and then you can roughly ride the legs higher. And yes, premiums will be expensive on this stock. The reason being is because it's made a huge move from 80 bucks or 60s, right, all the way to here very fast. So the premiums are jacked. But if it takes a 180, 200 will be fast. Have a stop loss on your options if you buy. And so keep an eye on this name. Great news. And it's up huge after pre-market. Mastercard is another stock which I do love long term. The number that matters here, you guys all know or should know, 365 and 375. All right, I have this memorized. A strong base above the 50-day moving averages, a big move yesterday based on inflation, right? And now if we can get above 365 out of this zone, Mastercard might make a nice little move towards 400. And JP Morgan has given them a target for 430, I believe, for next year. And they also released some notes on this. And to keep an eye on Mastercard, if it takes a 365 and above 375, there's a long way to go. All right, and this is another chart that T and I also discussed. So on the weekly time for T, you want to say anything about this, or you're okay?
I'm good for now.
Okay, so if he takes any position, he'll alert. But Mastercard, keep an eye on this name, guys. Weekly looks like a solid base. There's a lot of buying going on here. They do have earnings coming up in Jan, so some time left. And Christmas and holiday season, all this Black Friday, whatever you call it. Has Black Friday passed or is coming up? It's coming up, right? So Mastercard is a candidate for such events, right? Because transactions are supposed to go high, and because JD and Baba, JD's numbers are really strong, so we expect the same from North America. All right, so keep an eye on Mastercard, AXP, and Visa. Same industry. Tesla, we had the SEC filing yesterday. Musk sold some of his shares, mainly for tax purpose reasons, and is ripping pre-market. Congrats if anyone's in calls. Personally, I'm not playing. I'm just going to let it base. I want Tesla to go higher. I want it to break 1200. I want this to go to the 1350, 1400 because I'm still waiting for my short position on it. All right, so let's see when I get that. But if you're in, just manage. Pre-market is up huge. And if he sells more, if more filings come in today or tomorrow, if he sells more and Tesla reacts positively to it, then this is likely going to go up to another all-time highs towards $1,300. All right. So Tesla is very strong, and here it bounced off the support. And the all-time highs, if it takes out the all-time highs, then of course it can make another huge move up. AMAT has earnings coming up, guys. AMAT Applied Materials, right? Keep an eye on this name. It's retesting. It broke out of this base. This is a beautiful chart in my opinion. It's just giving nothing but an opportunity to get in if the market holds up. It broke out of this base. It broke out of this base, right? About, so for me, if I was playing AMAT, my level would have been 145 plus hold and then a huge move. I missed it. But here, if you get the retest of 148, if you get the retest of 148 by any chance, and it takes out 150 from 148 retest, if it takes a one, right now is higher, but I'm saying if it gets a 148 retest, takes a 150, there's a good chance all-time highs come fast on this name. All right, all-time highs come fast on this name, and they do have earnings next week. Keep an eye on AMAT. Another name that you want to keep an eye on is LRCX, a beautiful chart. I played this stock a lot this year, but for the past few weeks I haven't played it because it was in the little chop zone. I did not want to get caught here, but so Boogie and I were looking at this chart last night, doing some research. I told him that I would play this above 680 or this level right here, roughly 675, and then he said to me, "Why are you gonna wait for so long?" And I told him, for me, it's a more confirmed trade. But then he said, "Why don't you play this base as well, right? If I'm working on price actions." So then I'm like, okay, let's look at it. But so LRCX, based on what we studied last night, if LRCX can hold above 615 right here, if it takes out 615 and holds 615, you might be able to get an early entry. All right, as long as it does not give up this resistance and it comes down. So from 615 to 675, you'll be in 50 points, 60 points earlier. For me, I personally believe in it's okay to buy options at a higher price for more confirmation. But here at 615, I will buy at least 8 to 10 weeks out, maybe a 700 call or 720. Because if it makes a move fast, those will double, triple on this huge move up. So keep an eye on LRCX, and any great comments from AMAT, LRCX rips along with it. All right, and then we have SoFi. SoFi up pre-market, great earnings, I believe. But the only number that matters here for me, SoFi, is 24 hold. If it can have a 24 hold, we have a long way to go. I just don't want this stock to do what PLTR did and get stuck in the sideways movement. Now, if we look at the weekly chart on this, if we look at the weekly, it had a nice little rip in May, April. It gave up the gains. It had a nice little rip here. So this 24 plus is definitely hard. There's no doubt. They took it down twice hard. Do they do the same thing here and bring it down? It's very possible. Or this time what they might do is they might make a, if they decide to dip it, they might make a higher low and do something like this. This is a scenario which is in mind. However, if it continues holding this and it goes near all-time highs, I might scale into some leaps on SoFi based on also the flow, and then the company did great, and then we have an increase of volume as well. All right. And Disney, one thing that you guys should have learned from this earnings season, if you're new, right, one thing that you should have learned is any company which has something to do with subscription-based services or any thing to do with users, whether it's Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Pinterest, Disney, Amazon, or anything that has subscription-based services, if their growth is slow, if they say our growth has slowed down, the market is going to dump them. Just your revenues can be great, your earnings can be great, but if your user growth is slow, the market is going to dump you. That's what I've learned. So Disney trading at the weekly support. At the weekly support right now, do we continue going higher, or do we visit the support level of 148 on the weekly, right? Personally, technically, I will just draw a trend line here. It's very simple. Just draw a trend line here. If we can take above this level right here, if we can take out this level right here, which is roughly on the weekly basis 180. So Disney 180 right here. I've already written it down. 180 hold. We have 185 and 200. All right. And 914. Any chart requests do you guys have? Danish, Tesla I covered. Is the Musk? If Tesla's up on Musk's selling news, I think it goes a lot higher. Personally, I'm just waiting for it to go higher as much as it can, and then I'm gonna wait for a nice little weekly reversal. Maybe we get it this week Friday, or maybe next week, right? Another chart which I do want to cover is Amazon. Does it make sense why we rolled out profits and why we were not holding weeklies? And yesterday during the day, in the morning when Goldman Sachs jumped into puts, that was a sign for me. Maybe he might be seeing something. He probably did another analysis which I have not, right? And he was right on point. He nailed 200, 300% on his puts, right? Amazing play, a very daring play. And he waited until even at when Amazon broke above yesterday's highs, it was at 3,600. He was so confident he added another position. So that was a red flag for me. And I was just sitting, waiting patiently that, you know what, I have till November 26th. Maybe he sees something, right? I mean, because he's a very experienced trader. He knows his stuff. But for me, Amazon, for the week, I just want a 35.50 hold. Maybe even by tomorrow end of day or today, as long as we get 35.50 plus pulls, I'm good. Today is gapping up. If you're in Amazon, even 2 weeks out, November 26th, you might get close to your break even. We were up huge on all our positions. You can sell those and buy more time if you want, or stay out of the trade until Amazon takes out 3600. The technicals have changed a little bit. You can break out or take your position out at break even and wait until Amazon takes out 3600 for a confirmed trade. Because here, even though Amazon gapped up, it can easily give up game. You guys see this right here? Right, on a move down, it gapped up every day, but it kept going down every day, even though it gapped up. All right, so the same is possible here. However, I'm looking for a 3550 hold, and through 3600 has been a more of a confirmed trade now. All right, because Q's tech has made indexes have made a little toppy action. Unless the index is reversed and Amazon decides to reverse along with them, that's a different story. And if we get some news for primary type split, that's a different story altogether. But we don't know if we're ever going to get those or not, right? And yeah, guys, so just keep an eye on Chinese names. Just see if you guys see something. And other than that, I think we're good. Just manage your size, manage your positions, and anything else we'll speak in the group, I guess. And Rivian, I'm not trading it. I'm just waiting. So with this, we'll end it and see you guys back in the chat.